about subdivision. If you don't know what subdivision is, it sounds like a big fancy word, but it's really not. It's basically just musical math. But don't stop the video, don't get scared. It's musical math, but it's fun musical math because we can use subdivision to create really cool patterns, and we can actually play different subdivisions at the same time. So this is very cool. So let's talk about the idea behind it real quick, and then we'll get into playing some of it. So if we have one note, like a quarter note, for example. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. A quarter note happens 4 times in a measure of 4 beats. So that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you didn't notice, there's some space in between each beat. 1, space. 2, space. 3, space. Right? So in that space is where we can kind of chop it up and subdivide our rhythm. So if we have one beat, how many spaces can we make? Any amount. It's unlimited. We're going to keep this really simple for today and just talk about the next 2 subdivisions after the quarter note. But basically, we're going to chop this up into, we'll start with 2, right? We're going to chop it up into 2 spaces, 1 and. We did this in another video when we talked about upbeats, right? So we've just divided that one bass drum beat into 2 different spaces. 1 space, 2 spaces. Right? Now, what if we divided that beat into 4 spaces? 4 even spaces. How would that sound like? Let's start with our subdivision that creates 2 spaces, 1 and. There's our 2 little boxes. Now, let's make 4 boxes in there. Here we go. It's going to sound like this. 1, E, and. So there's our 4 spaces. Space, 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 space. So we've divided each individual beat into, now we're up to 4. So let's stop there, because we're going to use all 3 of these subdivisions that we just learned to play a rhythm on the drum set, so you can play 3 different subdivisions at the same time, okay? So first, let's start with the largest of the note values, which is our quarter note. We're going to play 1, 2, right? We're just going to play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, on your left hand, which is going to be on your snare drum, see if you can play that 8th note subdivision that goes over top like this. Nice. So we got the kick and the hand together, and then the hand by itself. So right now, if you're playing this with me, congratulations, you're playing 2 different subdivisions at the same time. All right. Now stop. Excellent. What we're going to do is practice that separately from the hands. So the hands, we're going to keep this 8th note thing going, but on the hi-hat, we're going to play that 16th note. That was the one with 4 spaces, the one that goes 1 E and 2 E and. So let's get that going on our hands. Here we go. Yeah. Now, if you find that this is a little difficult at first, slow it down. That is step 1. 1 E and 1 E and. And this is the same pattern idea as from before, where we're doing something together and then separate. Together, separate, together, separate. You'll find that's a common theme in drumming, where something's either happening at the same time or it's not. So let's practice that hand pattern one more time. 1 E and 1 E and Right. Now, our bass drum, let's bring that back in. That was our quarter note. That's our 3rd piece to this puzzle, and that's going to go on 1. So let's try 1 round of that, and then we'll stop. So that's going to sound like this. Here we go. 1, E, and Take a break. Okay. Make sure you got that. We'll try it again. Here we go. 1, E, and See how that works? So now I'm going to play it as a loop, and I want you to follow along and keep trying until you get it. So I'm going to hold this loop for as long as you need. If you got to stop it, start over until you get it, no worries. If you're making tons of mistakes, congratulations. That means you're doing the work and you're learning something. So here we go. 3, 4. 1, E, and So we've got a quarter note subdivision on the bass, an eighth note subdivision on the snare, and a 16th note subdivision on the hat. 1, E, and So let's try to take that a little bit faster, but only if you've got it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 1 E and a. So our hi-hat is going 1 E and a 2 E and a. Our snare's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, while our bass goes 1, 2, 3. So congratulations if you're playing this. 1, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you did that with me, you are playing 3 different subdivisions at once with your right hand, your left hand, and your right foot. So great job. You put in the time today. Keep going.